Hi, I'm Jerry Corman, the music director of the National Dance Institute, and today on NDI Jams, teaching artist Ly Bedaña will take us on a tour of the ballet class from the point of view of the accompanist. Along the way, we will meet some of the greatest classical piano music of all time. And then, stay tuned for some off-the-charts brilliant dancing by our founder, Jacques. See you later.
Today we're going to be talking about music in a ballet class. First things first, just a little disclaimer. There are different methodologies of ballet. There are different styles of teaching and different preferences to music. So ballet classes can vary. I'm just going to walk you through some of the basics. Just like a typical NDI class, the music supports the movements or exercises being taught. Since I'm not a dancer, the hardest thing for me was learning what those movements actually are and the appropriate meter for each. So 3/4, 4/4, 6/8, and 2/4. That's mostly what we're going to be using and going over today. Okay, Ballet 101. Rule 1. Play in phrases of 8, usually even sets of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that was 2/8 of Chopin's Waltz in C sharp minor. On to Rule 2. Always start with a 4-count introduction. This can be done in a couple of different ways. You can almost always use the end of the piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on and so on. You can also use a simple chord progression. Here's a 1-5-1 that's reminiscent of the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the point. The intro is like a phrase in itself, a 4-count phrase. It sets up the feel and the tempo. Alright, so now that the rules are out of the way, the first exercise is typically pliés, which are slow bends. The movement is smooth, which means that the music should be just that, smooth and lyrical. Here's an example in 3/4, a mazurka. Don't forget the intro. And an example in 4. Intro, 2, 3, 4. That was the Bach classic Prelude in C. Now, even though these examples have different feels and different meters, the pulse that you're providing is still the same. They're almost interchangeable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for pliés, you can use either one. Next up, tendus. Musically, you could even tack on dégagés. The movement goes out, then in, So we need a 2/4 or a 4/4. Let's go with the habanera from Bizet's Carmen. If you wanted something that's a little less dramatic, you could use a section from the same piece that's in a major key. This is where it gets fun. As a musician, you have the power to set or change the mood. Moving on, piqués. So ballet terms are in French, and if you know the translation, it can be very helpful. For instance, the meaning of piqué is to prick. If you translate that musically, you might end up with something like this. Never make it through a ballet class without throwing in some Tchaikovsky. So there you have it. Today's obligatory Tchaikovsky, that last piece being from Swan Lake. Rond de jambe. Rond de jambe translated is around the leg, so in a circle. This should have a fluid sweeping feel with a strong downbeat. Music in 3/4 is perfect for this. If you're familiar with that piece from Carnival of the Animals, you'll notice that I modified the ending, which is actually a 12-count phrase. This brings us back to Rule 1. Movements are in phrases of 8. Solution, I resolved the piece 4 bars sooner. Grand Bamba. Grand pas mal, meaning big step, needs music that is exactly that. Big and grand. We also need music in 4. Rule 1 comes up again. Exercises are usually in even sets of 8. The A section of the French national anthem is actually 3 sets of 8. To even it out, I just repeated the first set of 8. Adagio, or adage, is exactly what it sounds like. Slow. This is achieved well with a slow 3. One of my favorites is the prelude in C minor from 12 Little Preludes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that covers a lot of the basics of a ballet class. Of course, you'll always end with a reverence, which should be legato, but otherwise is entirely up to you. And if you're feeling it in 3, so be it.
Thank you, Ly Bedaña, for all that great playing and a tour of the ballet class. And now, as promised, our founder, Jacques dancing a pas de deux with Sherry North from The Best Things in Life Are Free. See you next week for NDI Jams.